Hello YouTube, Street Riders 209. On the last video I made, commented that I had some parts up at the powder coating shop. I did get them a couple days ago, so this is pretty much what the result is. Kind of wish the sun wasn't hitting it, or else it wouldn't be so bright. But that's my badge right there. Bolts up to the grill. That's how it looks with the lights that I did the other day. That's the lugs I was talking about, or not lugs. They're like more like accent pieces to the rims. They are done in a shocker yellow. I'll show you that hitch in a minute. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. This is an awesome color. It's like a lime green, and then when the sun hits it, it turns kind of yellowish. It's freaking sweet. Probably one of my favorite colors next to the candy red also. I do have the light bar coming in. I already ordered it, so I will soon make a video on either how to install a light bar on the front or do that custom rack I had mentioned earlier. But that's it right there. Let me show you. Okay. Got another one out here that I can show you on hand. Alright, so this is the cover right here. Made by me. These go bolted up to the grill. Now I have different bolts for these depending on the length, but that's pretty much what it looks like. That's the one that's going to go on my hitch. That's the one I'm going to make the video on today, is how to put together a hitch, a receiver, or a receiver cover, you know, on the cheap. Got a couple more of my soon-to-be projects. Okay. So this here is pretty much what it is. It's made out of two different pieces of flat bar. I believe 4-inch flat bar. You can see right there, that's where I welded them together. I did not grind off the back end just because, first of all, it doesn't matter because it's going to be covered, but also I knew I was going to record a video on it, so I left it alone so you would see. It's just a lot cheaper if you got some scrap metal to put something like this together, instead of getting a huge 8 or 10-inch piece of either flat bar or sheet metal and then having to cut it. You know, stuff gets really expensive. I usually just use blanks. You know, something like that. Depending on what I want to make, I'll either make, that's what I make those with, or I can weld them together and make something bigger like this one. But I mean, this stuff you can get it cheap. If you don't mind spending the extra time to weld them up, that's it. Alright, so this is a piece that I got done making today. This is where my receiver is going to go into the actual hitch. I made this specifically to bolt up to this. You know, I mean, you can go to the store and probably find something that's more this style, but that'll run you an arm and a leg. That's one of my old projects that I had done a long time ago. It's just imitation hitches. This one's supposed to have that big 4, 5, 6-inch chrome ball, you know, just for looks. So okay, let me show you how I did this right here. Simply what I did, I started off with a piece of 2x2 square tube, fits into the receiver, drilled out some holes, and these are all the little pieces that went into that right here. Got some 1.5 by 1.5 angle, some miscellaneous notched pieces, and either 1/4 inch or 3/8, doesn't matter, some flat bar. So ultimately what I did, welded that up like that, welded that up like that, that gave me a pretty nice cone for a little house. Once I had that done, drilled a hole on this first, just because it's so much easier to work while it's flat, and welded it straight, just like that. I welded it on the edge rather than in the center, just because you could flip this if you need whatever you're bolting up to be maybe an inch or two higher or lower. You can move it by flipping this. See? So like right now it's about an inch high. Flip it over, now it's lower. Depends on what you're bolting up to it. I plan on using the same piece for a bunch of different projects. I'm gonna make tons of covers like this one, like my brass knuckles 209. I'm gonna end up pretty much welding the same thing, something like right there, with a hole. Bolt that up to that same receiver. Okay. If you wanted to, you could weld this piece straight to this tube, but I mean, you tell me if that would look pretty or not. If you put this, I just don't see how that's gonna work out. It just looks ridiculously ugly. Unless you have something that you're using that's gonna cover up this 2x2 square tube, I would definitely go with something this style. Alright, let me see. So let me take these pieces together. You know what, let me put this here. I'll just put it together here. Alright, so the way that I did this, just bolt that up like that. Let's see if I can get my camera to stay. Alright. So basically, there's a bolt. I am going to paint that receiver like a flat black once I'm done. There it is. That's pretty much, that's all there is to it. I don't know, some people might think it looks ugly. Personally, I don't think it looks bad at all, especially once it's on the truck. I will show you how it looks. Now, one of the positive things to having that bolt like that, so you can tilt the emblem, is you might get in a situation like me, for instance. I had custom made that hitch for my truck, so it's welded up in between the frame. It's like pretty much what hide a hitch. Most trucks will have the receiver down here underneath the bumper. However, that won't be an issue to you because your license plate will be over the receiver. However, in my case, I have to have my license plate bolted down like that when I'm towing or when I have a cover on there. So you basically just slide that in place, just like that. So like right now, obviously the emblem is right in the way, so that's where tilting this and tightening this up. 1 second. Alright. Yeah, so something from far, it's not really covering. I'd say that's definitely legal. You might have to get a copper tooth trying to argue that with you, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Personally, I think it looks pretty cool the way it's like that. I don't know, some of you might not think so, but you definitely have the ability to set it flat or straight. So that's pretty much how that works. You can also always do different holes right here for different depths. If you want it sticking out really, really far, or just completely up against the truck. I mean, that's up to you. But that's the emblems right there. It's extremely easy. Well, at least for me. I mean, I've been welding for almost 15 years. So, I guess I can get away with saying that. Alright, so once again, that's the style right there, the design. Once you have that little cup, basically you're just going to want to weld it straight onto that 2x2. You're going to end up with pretty much that right there. I'd say that's a pretty easy